and just why? Hey everybody, welcome to Butt Rock in Review, your one-stop shop for butt rock. I'm Tim, and today we are looking at one of my favorite live bands of all time, Breaking Benjamin, and their album Dear Agony. I never really listened to this album much. I mostly, with Breaking Benjamin, just stick to their best of album, Shallow Bay. So we're going to dig in today and see what it's all about. Also, just to note, I don't know if I've ever made it clear on my previous reviews, but I don't really look at the lyrics for these. I mostly just judge the album based on how it sounds musically. Alright, so without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Alright, so track number 1 is Fade Away. It's got a really nice opening riff, but it instantly highlights my biggest issue with this album, which is the production or overproduction. The guitar is so overly processed that it doesn't even really sound like a guitar anymore. It sounds like this old plugin I used to use that was a fake guitar in FL Studio called Slayer. I'm going to see if I can find a video of it. The overproduction issue doesn't just stop at the guitars, it is even worse on the vocals. I have nothing against autotune, I personally use it myself, but there, in my opinion, are two good ways to use it. You can use it just a little bit to touch up the vocals a bit, or you can go crazy with it and become a robot. It seems like on this album, they just put it right between them, and once you notice it, it is incredibly annoying. I've seen Breaking Benjamin live several times, so I know he can sing, so this just seems like a really weird choice. Back to the actual song, the verses are pretty run-of-the-mill for Breaking Benjamin, as is the chorus. It feels like this is a filler track, but it's the one they chose to start the album off. So far, my expectations have been lowered. Track number 2 is I Will Not Bow. It's got this nice chunky riff and a great scream to start it off. The verses are catchy and full of emotion, and the choruses are just powerful. The bridge portion is great. We get a chunky riff again with a nice solo on top of it, leading into just a nice start and stop version of the chorus, and it ends on that chunky riff again. This is a good song. Things are starting to look up. Track number 3 is Crawl, and from this opening I am reminded how much of my own songwriting style has been influenced by Breaking Benjamin. The verses here are pretty, but also pretty generic. The pre-chorus doesn't get much better, but the chorus is great and it makes up for it. The bridge brings in some heavier guitars and just sort of switches up the feeling of the whole song until it goes back into the pretty good chorus. Overall, not a bad song. Track number 4 is Give Me a Sign, and it immediately sounds like your typical white guy with an acoustic guitar song. You can tell they're going for something beautiful, but the vocal processing really takes me out of it on this one. The chorus is nice, but overall, again, it's pretty generic. The song sort of just drags on until they start building up the Give Me a Sign part, which they build up, and then it's ultimately just boring as well. I know this song means a lot to a lot of people, and if I'm in the right or wrong mood, it can mean a lot to me as well. But musically, it's just a pretty boring song. Track number 5 is Hopeless, and this is just treadmill headbanging music. The verse is pretty low energy, but it still keeps it intense somehow. The chorus brings in more great riffs and even more intensity, and the song ends on the same great riff that it started with. Overall, love this song. Track number 6 is What Lies Beneath, and I love this verse. Aside from the actual vocal processing, the vocals here are great. I do hate, however, that the last line of the first verse doesn't rhyme, and they don't keep this throughout the rest of the song, so it just really sticks out to me. The chorus is a pretty generic ballad, but it's not bad. The bridge has a really nice feeling to it, but it's incredibly short. Overall, this song's not bad. Track number 7 is Anthem of the Angels, and they suddenly introduce strings, and I am loving it with this opening riff. This verse is pretty, but it sounds like they added even more effects to his voice in this song, and just why? The chorus has a really nice feeling to it, and even underneath all the effects, you can hear the raw emotion in Ben's voice, and I love it. The bridge is just boring, but it does lead into the best version of the chorus in this song. Track number 8 is Lights Out. We get another great opening riff followed by a pretty intense and interesting verse. The choruses in this song are probably the best on the album. The guitar solo in the bridge fits perfectly, and we end again on a shortened version of the intro riff. Track number 9 is Dear Agony. This song is just boring. The chorus is nice though. The bridge is just a slog and everything just sort of drags on and on. This is the title track and it just feels like more filler. Track number 10 is Into the Nothing. Now this is a great opening riff, but it just shows me that Breaking Benjamin has like 5 things they do, and every song is just them rearranging those things they do. It's all pretty generic. It kind of reminds me of Nickelback in that respect. The verses here are okay musically, but Ben's voice is awesome here. The chorus is pretty simple, but it does convey a lot of emotion. And again, the bridge is pretty boring. Track number 11 is Without You, and I really dig these verses. You can really feel the pain in his voice. The chorus is actually pretty similar in that way. You can really feel what he's feeling. The band isn't really doing much here, but Ben's vocals easily carry this song. It ends on a nice orchestral bit, and this is not a bad way to end an album. There are a couple great moments on this album, but there's not really any great songs. Now again, I don't really look at the lyrics when reviewing albums, I just review the music. And I know that there are great lyrics on this album that have helped a lot of people. They've helped me as well. But musically, I just thought this album was pretty weak. So I'm going to give this album a 5.5 out of 10. I know it's a lot lower than a lot of you think it should be. I just really wasn't feeling it. I know that Breaking Benjamin can do a lot better. Alright, so thanks for checking this review out. If you haven't already unsubscribed, I do a butt rock review every Saturday and occasionally throw in the extra video during the week. If you're not subscribed and you want to after this, feel free. Thanks guys, bye.